What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. In the wake of the new purchase and the new build on the 2018 Ford Raptor we have here, the first install is going to commence today. Now, if you guys remember, what I was gonna do with the Tacoma was to do the Retrax bed cover with the up top overland rack, and that was how I was gonna mount my rooftop tent setup and all the other supplies I need. Well, that's what we're gonna do with this truck. So we have bought and purchased the Retrax bed cover, and with the T-slot rails, it's the manually operated version. So we're gonna get right into this install and how to get it installed on your F-150, specifically the 5.5 foot bed for the Raptor. I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be the first install of the channel with the Ford Raptor, and I'm pretty excited. So let's get this thing on there. I've been wanting this bed cover for a very long time. Even when I had the Tacoma, I was really interested in running a setup like this, and I just think it makes sense to be able to use the function of the bed cover with the sliding motion. Also have like a mid to high tier rack on the top, so you can get in your bed as well as also access what's on the rack at the same time. So that's really why I've been wanting to run this setup. If you do your research, these Retrax bed covers are top quality. So I'm pretty stoked to get this on the truck. So with that being said, we're gonna get into an unboxing, everything you're gonna need to install it. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't lose any of you guys because of the switch to the new truck. As I explained in my previous video, why I switched to the Raptor and why I made this decision is all explained in the previous upload. You'll see it at the top of your screen in this video. If you want to click on that to see the transition video from the Tacoma to the Raptor, you can as well. So with that being said, let's get right into it. All right, guys, so here we have the two boxes that the Retrax bed cover has come in as. You're gonna have, at least for me, I got my stuff from Stage 3 Motorsports. Very fast shipping. They had one in stock, so that was very accessible and very easy. So they came in a two-piece shipment, basically all together at the same time, but two boxes. So I have no idea what's in each box, like what is what. So we're gonna get into unboxing it and getting to what we're gonna need to install it on the truck here. And now this specifically is for the Raptor. So it's gonna be the 5.5 foot bed for your F-150 Raptors. So always make sure you're ordering the right one. If you're putting this on a Raptor specifically, it's a 5.5 foot bed, but make sure you order it for the right size bed that you're gonna be installing it on. So like I said, it's gonna be a nice sleeker design. It's gonna sit up a little bit, but it's also gonna retract, and it's gonna have just basically a retractable box here that's gonna store the track, and whenever you wanna use it, you're gonna slide it into that box. And it also will have the T-slot rails that will sit kinda on your bed sides here to be able to mount accessories like a bed rack, like we're gonna be doing to mount our rooftop tent. All right, so we're gonna be starting with the smaller of the two boxes, and we're gonna open this guy up and see what's inside, get it spread out, and see what actually it is. All right, so now that we have the smaller box unboxed, we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of the bed cover and open the big box. All right, guys, so I have everything out of the boxes, and what it seems like the larger of the two boxes is the actual cover itself with the housing for the track. It's got some weight to it. If you want to use somebody to get it out of the box, that'll be better for you. We also have a piece here that was also in the big box, as well as the bag of directions, keys, and looks like drainage hoses for moisture and water. This box looked like it came with the rails that mounts to the cover, but we'll get right into it. And this is a hardware bag from what it seems, to get the cover mounted onto your factory truck and factory bed. All right, so the first thing we're gonna have to do here is on the canister portion of the cover. And what we're gonna have to do is just remove the shipping stuff that they put in to ship the canister. And by doing that, we're gonna remove these screws. There's one on each side. We'll remove this plastic piece. So that will allow us to move the cover a little bit to mount our rails to this canister so we get the bed cover built. All right, guys, now that we have the brackets that they shipped with off the cover, it's kind of free now. We gotta go ahead, use your key, and unlock this, and that way this can move in and out freely and we can get our rails installed on each side. So basically what we're doing here is, this is the driver's side we're starting with, and it's pretty difficult to do this just myself. So I apologize if I can't really film me actually doing it, but I'm going to explain what I'm going to be doing. So I've already took the rail and then mated the ball bearing wheels into the slot here and basically just drove this into the slot. And now what we're going to be doing is this rail is going to sit down into the canister. And the way it's going to do so is that this tab here is threaded. This tab right here is threaded, and that's the tab we're going to want to fit in the inside portion right there. And we're going to be able to suck it in with a screw that they provide to actually attach this rail to the canister. So here's the hardware you're going to be using to mount those rails to the canister. They're literally 4 bolts, all Phillips head. And what these guys are going to do, and as you can see in the passenger side here that I have no rail here, is these holes, the front and the rear, that's where you're going to be mounting the rail. Like I said, that tab on the rail is going to be sitting in this slot on the canister back there, and you're just going to take your screw once everything's lined up. The front and the rear should line up, and you're going to suck these in to the rail so it mates the rail to the canister.
All right, guys, so now that we got those screws in, we're going to move to the other side and mount the what would be the passenger side rail, basically the same way that we did this side. All right, so the next part is I'm going to try to remove all this plastic first before we mount the actual canister cover, which is going to go in here, and that's this piece leaning up here. And I'll show you in a second, once I get all this wrap off, how to mount that on. All right, so now that we get the canister cover on there, it's literally going to go below both the rails on each side. And the way it mounts is these 2 screw holes that are in the rails that you already put on. We're going to suck it down with the provided hardware to mount the cover. I left the plastic on. We can just take that off once we retract the whole cover after. But yeah, these holes should line up with the holes in the cover there to mount the cover to the rails. And the hardware you're going to be using are these black, longer Allen head type screw heads. And they provide you with an Allen wrench to suck those guys down into place. All right, guys, so now once you have that in place and that's snugged up, you're going to want to roll back the cover and lock it into place so we can actually put the whole assembly now into the truck and get it properly set inside the truck. And we're going to be checking our spacing on the tailgate here. We want everything proportioned, and that's very important. So we're going to get this into the truck. Use a buddy or something to get this whole thing in the truck. It's pretty heavy now and awkward to carry yourself. So make sure you always ask for help when you need to do things like that. All right, so now the cover is in place, roughly where it's going to be, and that's roughly what you're going to be looking at. So definitely use somebody to get it on there. It's a little bit, heavy once you get it assembled, and a bit awkward to do yourself. I've got mine, the weather stripping is sitting flat like that on the back here. That way it keeps the water and stuff out. But we're going to be moving this forward anyways. And that's the next part of the install. We're going to make sure we have a uniform 1/8 inch gap. If you look here, we want 1/8 between the back of this and then to the cover, the tailgate. So we're going to have to move this forward a decent amount to get that 1/8 inch. So here's what I'm talking about. You're gonna need an 1/8 inch gap from the end of the rail to the back of the tailgate here. So as you can see, there's a lot of space there. I'm gonna take my tape measure and try to get it as close as possible on both sides, and then we can start thinking about how to mount the cover to the actual bed of the truck.
So basically, these are the clamps that will be provided in the hardware bag so that you can mount the cover to the rail of the truck inside here. And now how these are gonna go on is, if you're looking at the clamp, right? This rounded part is gonna hook up into the rail of the truck, right? And then this tooth looking part is gonna go into the rail of the bed cover. And now specifically where they're gonna go is in between these two white plastic bolts here, these two stops here. And you're gonna wanna adjust this guy right here to loosen the whole clamp. That way you can hook the rear of it on and snug it up with a 14mm ratchet or wrench, whatever you choose, to snug this up. And now you're gonna do this to all 4 corners of the bed cover. And now I always wanna make sure your 1/8 is still good before you snug one up, because then this thing's not gonna really wanna move, obviously, once you put the clamps on. So get those on, you know, sort of snug, make sure everything's nice, and then we'll move on from there. So now looking at the clamps, now that you get all 4 in, you're gonna wanna adjust this bumper stop here so that it's away from the side of the bed. That way we can push this clamp and adjust it in or out. That's basically gonna change the geometry and the spacing of our bed rails in or out on the truck. So you're gonna wanna loosen the nut on the back of it, and then you can simply turn this bolt to back the stop away from the side of the bed. And that's how we're gonna adjust. And we're gonna adjust the spacing of the rails, in a sense, by turning these with the, I believe, 8mm Allen head. And that's gonna move the cover in and out and get our spacing correct on all 4 corners. All right, so I really didn't have to do much adjustment on the cover. The spacing for the rails are basically the same on each side. But it's a 6mm Allen head, not an 8, my bad, to back these white screws out. That way you can push in and out and change the geometry of the cover if you need be. Once you have all that done, snug up your bumpers, which I did anyways, on to the bed rail there, and then we can go ahead and test the actual operation of the Retrax cover. All right, guys. So one thing to take note: it's going to be a little stiff at first. Once it breaks in, it'll get looser. I'm actually gonna spray my rails with some lubricant, so it'll help it, you know, break in and be a little smoother retracting. But so far, everything's good. The spacing's good. Take your tailgate, put it up real quick. Make sure it's nice and tight. And yeah, so don't remember that this thing locks. So you just flip this cover up, take your key, unlock it, and use the latch system with the cover. But yeah, I'm very stoked. I can't wait to start mounting my accessories. And as I stated before, I'm going to be doing the up top Overland Retrax mid-height rack for this truck. Alright guys, that concludes this upload. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am very, very happy with the results. I'm so excited to start using this bed cover and start using the Retrax system itself. It's a very modular system. You can't beat the ability to mount accessories to the T-slot rails here, which you know I'll be doing. Same procedure as I was going to do with the Tacoma. We're going to run the up top Overland rack. We're going to get that on order. That way we can start enjoying the truck and the camping setup this coming season. So far, build quality, very, very good. Everything operates very good. Like I stated, it's gonna take a little bit to break in the cover. If you guys want, I didn't mention it, but I actually will be installing these tubes here to the canister. That way, if any water gets inside there, it can drain out through the bottom of the bed there. So I'm very stoked, excited. It looks very clean, as you guys can see. You have everything, you know it locks. Make sure you guys scan the code once you get the Retrax cover to get your warranty, I believe, set up. So always remember, please like, subscribe. We'll be back on the channel when we get the up top overland rack rocking and rolling. Take care, have a good one.